article on the girl with no pain. Thank you. I might remember spontaneously, but chances are I won't. We're going to go there, though. All right. So you have pain for good reasons. So the question is, what the heck is pain? Why do we feel pain? Yeah, but that's a psych class. We're going to stick with, I don't know, I say, come up here, we're going to try an experiment. I hold your hand down, I stick a needle in your hand. Yeah. You scream at me. Ah, Caleb, you can't do that. I say, yes, I can. It's an experiment for class. Bless you. No more sneezing. We got to be done. Yeah. You had pain because of receptors. You hit a receptor, that receptor fires, signal comes in, takes the signal up to your brain, where it's interpreted as pain. Okay. I like that. That's kind of cool. Signal comes in, so going up, light something up. Most of these signals right now are coming down, but this signal's going to go up. And is it going to go up the anterolateral column or the posterior column? Anterolateral?
No,
No, we got two choices. Anterolateral or posterior column? I'm sorry, you're voting for?
anterolateral.
Anterolateral. Good. Yes. All right, we just covered that half an hour ago. I don't expect you to remember it yet. All right. So the signal gets up there. You have to do something to eliminate the pain. So let's say you are trying to become a healthy person and you're running. Now taking up, see, this is me running. Cool. Any of you ever run much? I used to run a lot. I've given it up because I've given it up. And my knees no longer like it. How many of you have ever had a runner's high? Is that like so flippin' cool? Do any of you remember your first runner's high? I do. You know, it's like your first significant other. But anyway, in high school, I used to run 1,600 yard. I don't know what those are. Those are dashes, believe it or not. I guess nowadays that would be 1,500 meters. It's hard to believe that 1,500 meters is a dash, but it is. And to practice for that, I would run and run and run just to get to a point of, you know, how much can you endure. And the first day it hit me, I'm running, and when you're really working out running, you get to a point where your legs become heavy. They become a weight that you have to lift. And all of a sudden, the legs got light, and it was beautiful. It was wonderful. The pain that had been there a few minutes ago was gone. It's like, yes! And I ran another couple hundred meters, and all of a sudden, I was like running into a brick wall. Bang! Because I had exhausted all of the chemicals that I had been producing to take away the pain. Runner's high is something that you do in your brain to eliminate pain. Okay? In other words, your body's in pain. The whole time you have a runner's high, it's just you can't feel it anymore because you're cranking out beta endorphins. Beta endorphins belong to your endogenous opiates. Opiates. Yes. Where do we get opiates from? Well, I get mine from my brain. Okay? Some people get them from poppies. We'll talk about that too. Opiates are a class of drug that essentially numbs your pain. It prevents you from feeling pain. hypothalamus, amygdala, and the cortex. Real big on producing beta endorphins. Beta endorphins are what you produce when, you all know the story, I don't know, the family is in the rollover car accident, and one of the people stuck under the car, and the other person comes along and lifts the car up and saves everybody, right? It must have been on the news a couple weeks ago or something. The question is, how did that happen? What they failed to tell you was shortly thereafter, the person probably had a massive heart attack and died, or they were in such pain that they couldn't talk for 3 weeks. Beta endorphin. Beta endorphin is an opiate that essentially interacts tremendously with the para-aqueductal gray matter. Now you remember the para-aqueductal gray matter surrounds the cerebral aqueduct. The cerebral aqueduct is full of CSF. That CSF is going to circulate all around your cord. It's going to circulate all around your brain. You dump beta endorphin in there, and you are going to have massive pain reduction. That's cool. But now let's say you decide, as a female, you guys are off the hook right now. All 3 of you. You want to have a baby. Cool. Have you ever, I don't know if any of you have kids, but if any of you been around a delivery? No, any of you? No. They're interesting. They're full of interesting sounds and things. There are a couple of important events during delivery. One is cervical dilation. Cervical dilation is when the cervical canal, cervical canal is at the tip of the uterus, so we have the cervix at the tip of the uterus. The cervical canal is where the baby has to pass through, because the kid's up in the uterus. Typical cervical canal in a female is about the diameter of a thick hair. Not a thin hair, but a thick hair. And it's got to dilate. It dilates to about 7 centimeters, and the kid can start coming through. Usually at that point in time, as it's dilating, and as the kid now is about to push through the first small orifice so that it can get through the next one, there's a lot of pain, to put it mildly. The contractions of labor are painful. The kid squeezing out through this series of small openings is painful. And the female does something that is incredible. At the para-aqueductal gray matter, start cranking out enkephalins. If beta endorphins are like street-grade heroin, enkephalin is like something that is unnameable, delivered only by a god. I used to kid with my anatomy classes, I would love to, when women are delivering babies, the ones that aren't really screaming a lot, go and just kind of drain as much blood as I could from them and extract the enkephalins, because I could retire. If we could purify, and it would be easy to do, purify the enkephalins and sell it on the street. They're legal, and you could retire, and you wouldn't have to go to school anymore, and everybody would be happy. Yeah. Because these are going to have direct effects on the whole spinal cord. These effects are going to be massive. And they are going to tremendously reduce pain. Okay? How many of you know what an episiotomy is? How many of you really have no idea? How many of you know and really would rather not know? Okay. So an episiotomy is an amazing little bit of surgical alteration that happens during a difficult delivery. So the kid's head is coming out and the shoulders are getting to the point. Shoulders are more important to get out than the head. Heads tend to get out, shoulders can get stuck. And historically, the reason most women on the planet have died is because as the kid is coming out, tearing happens. You tear through the back of the vagina, which is separated from the anal canal by about that distance. You tear into the rectum, mother becomes toxic and dies. Kid survives. So what they do now is, as the delivery is proceeding, if it looks like there's going to be tearing, you simply go in with a pair of forceps and snip, snip, snip. You make the cuts, open it up. I watched my daughter coming out, and everything is progressing. And I watched the surgeon take a pair of scissors and go in there. I'm going, okay. Oh my God! Wait a minute. There was no anesthesia involved, and there was no screaming involved. And Keflin lets somebody take a pair of scissors to your vagina, and you can't feel it. Okay, that's scary. Yes. So this set of pathways is very important for reducing pain. You make these drugs because your body hates pain. It can be good for you, but your body doesn't like it. Does everything it can do to avoid pain. And then we have substance P. Substance P has its actions from locus coeruleus down through the ventral rostral medulla here. And substance P is just the opposite of everything else that we've talked about. Substance P allows you to feel pain. We could think of it as substance pain. That's what P stood for. And it's critical that you feel pain. But that New York Times article goes into the lives of several young kids, and it's mostly young girls, I seem to remember, who have no pain, they can't feel pain. So you go, whoa, well that's kind of cool. In this day and age, you can't feel pain. What could be bad about it? Imagine if you were playing outside, okay? You fell, you broke something, you got up and started chasing after whatever was going on with a broken arm or a broken leg. You go, well, okay, so you got to get the arm and leg set. No, the reality is when you break an arm or a leg and you don't tend to it quickly and you let the bones separate, the fats in the marrow can get into your bloodstream. What's going to happen to you? You can end up with a pulmonary embolism. What's going to happen to you? You're probably going to die. Whoops, not good. Little boys, and this is why we tend to see this in little girls, but we don't see it in little boys. Little boys are the ones that jump off the garage roof into the swimming pool. Okay? They break something, they get up, they say, whoa, I didn't do that, right? Let me go back up there and do it again. And then they kill themselves. TV shows, books, they've utilized this lack of pain because, believe it or not, pain, as much psychological as physical, is part of your reward system. Now, some people take that kind of to a really bad place where they start to enjoy the pain. They get kind of positive feedback from having pain. So we have sadomasochism, those types of things. But for most people, we don't like that pain. In those TV shows and books, I think we've talked about the main bad guy in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Did we talk about that at all? Have you read that book?
I've seen the movie.
You've seen the movie? Okay. The American or the Scandinavian? Both. Yeah. They're rough. The books are rough too, but it gives you a lot more insight in the books. So one of the main bad guy in the movie can't feel pain. Did you see just the first movie or all three? Or I don't know how they deal with it in the movie. Can I take you to the end where she finally kills him? Because it's so cool. It's so applicable to this class. So the main bad guy can't feel pain. which means